Hi guys, this is the EdExcel GCSE Maths Paper 1 from the foundation tier, and it's from the November 2020 series. Question 1. We have to write the following numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest number. Now you'll notice the 0.32 is given to 2 decimal places, the 0.4 is given to 1 decimal place, the 0.35 is given to 2 decimal places, and the 0.309 that's given to 3 decimal places. And we can compare all these numbers by writing them all to 3 decimal places, and for that we simply need to add in a 0 here, 2 zeros here, and 1 0 here. This makes the comparison easier. If we ignore everything before the decimal point, we can think of these as temperatures. The smallest temperature, that's 0.309, followed by the 0.32. Now we don't need to add this extra 0, that was just a placeholder. We follow this by the 0.35, followed by the 0.4. So this is the numbers written in order of size. Question 2. We've got a list of numbers here, 5, 11, 18, 22 and 29, and from the list we have to write down a multiple of 3. Well, of course 18 is in the 3 times table, so one number we can write down is 18. For question 3, we have to write 4.666 correct to the nearest whole number. So essentially we need to round this number to the nearest whole number. And you'll notice here, if we take a look at this 6, this is 5 or greater, so we move this 4 over here to the next digit up. So we have 5. For question 4, we have to write 3/4 as a decimal. Well, 3/4, that's a standard decimal, which we should know. That's 0.75. And question 5, we have to write down the value of the 7 in the number 8765. Well, this 7 over here corresponds to the hundreds, and therefore the 7 is represented by the 700. Question 6. Jita spins a fair 6-sided spinner, and on the probability scale we have to mark with a cross the probability that the spinner will land on C. Well, you can see here we've got 1, 2, 3 A's, 1 B and 4 C's, and therefore because we've got an 8-sided spinner, 4 of those are C's, so the probability of getting a C, that's equal to 4 over 8, which we can simplify to 1/2. So we put the cross over here. And then for part B, on the probability scale, we have to mark with the cross the probability that the spinner will land on a D. Well, there's no D in this spinner, so the probability of getting a D, that's equal to 0. So we mark a cross over here. Question 7. The incomplete pictogram shows information about the number of eggs sold from a farm shop on Monday. And we're told that on Monday the shop sold 18 eggs, on Tuesday the shop sold 24 eggs, and on Wednesday the shop sold 27 eggs. And we have to use this information to complete the pictogram and the key. Well, you can see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these quarter shapes, and that represents 18 eggs. So therefore one of these quarter shapes would represent 18 divided by 6, which is 3. Okay, so we have 3x, and that makes sense. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Of course, we can extend this to complete the pictogram. So on Tuesday the shop sold 24 eggs. So we've got here 3, 6, 9, 12, and another one of those 15, 18, 21, 24. So here we've got 24 eggs, and for 27, well, we have 24, which is shown by these two here, and then we need another 3 as shown here. So this is our completed pictogram. Now for question number 8, we have to write down the coordinates of the point A. So we're going 2 across and 3 up. So we have 2, 3. And then we have to write down the coordinates of B. We go 0 across, 1 down. So we have 0, minus 1. And on part C, on the grid we have to mark with a cross the point minus 2, 1 and label this point C. So minus 2 across, 1 up. Here is where we have the point C. Okay, so now for question number 9, for part A bag contains red counters and blue counters only, and the number of red counters to the number of blue counters is in the ratio 3 to 4, and we have to write down the fraction of the counters that are red. So for this question, you can see here we have 7 in total, and of those 3 of them are red. And now for part B, we have to write the ratio 12 to 30 in the form 1 to n. So we've got this 12 to 30, we want to write this in the form 1 to n. So all we have to do here is divide both sides by 12. So 30 divided by 12, you'd find that to be 2.5. And the reason I know it's 2.5, 30 divided by 12, actually let's just move this here. That is the same as if I divide the top and bottom by 2, 15 over 6, and if I divide the top and bottom by 3, we get 5 over 2. Okay, so this is what 30 divided by 12 is. It's 2.5, which is the same as 5 over 2. So we have 1 to 2.5. Question 10. Jenny has 12 marbles. A quarter of these marbles are large. The rest of the 12 marbles are small. Each large marble has a weight of 70 grams. Each small marble has a weight of 50 grams. We have to work out the total weight of the 12 marbles. So to do this question, let's find out how many marbles are large. So if we look at the large marbles, we have 1/4 of 12, which is 3, and each large marble has a weight of 70 grams, so the weight here is equal to 3 times by 70, which is 210 grams. And for the small, well, the rest of the marbles are small, so we have here 12 marbles to begin with. Take away the 3 that are large, we have 9 small marbles, and the weight of one small marble is 50 grams. So 9 times by 50, that's equal to 450. So the weight of all the small marbles, that's 450 grams, and therefore the total weight, that's equal to 210 plus 450. It turns out here we get 660. So we have 660 grams. Question 11. We have to reflect the shaded shape in the mirror line. So if we do that, well, this point here is 2 away from this mirror line, so the corresponding point for this will go over here. this point is 4 from the mirror line, so going 4 the other way, the corresponding point goes here. For this point, this is 3 away from the mirror line, so going the other way, the corresponding point goes here. And for this point, this is 1 below here, and for this point here, that is in line with this point here. And then we simply have to join all these up. So this is our reflected shape. Now for question number 12, the diagram shows a number machine. So we input a number, we multiply it by 2, we then subtract 3, we get an output. And we have to find the output when the input is 7. So we begin with this 7, we then multiply it by 2, and then we subtract 3. So here we've got 14 take away 3, turns out we get 11. And now for part B, we have to work out the input when the output is 41. Well, if we call the input x, we multiply this x by 2 first of all, so we get 2x. And then we subtract this 3, and it turns out we get 41 for our output. And now we have to find this input x. So first thing we need to do, we need to add 3 to both sides. So if I add 3 to both sides, you can see here 2x is equal to 44, and now if I divide both sides by 2, you can see here x is equal to 22. So the input is 22. Question number 13, we've got the diagram which shows 2 points A and B on a map. So we've got the point A over here and the point B over here, and we've got the scale 1 to 25,000, and we have to find the bearing of B from A. And to do this, simply grab your protractor, line everything up. We're going from A to B, so we want to measure the angle from here to here. So first of all, join these up with a straight line as shown, and we need to work out this angle over here. So if we align everything up as necessary, you can see here we've got 25 degrees. So we have 25 degrees. And now for part B of the question, we have to work out the real distance between A and B. Give your answer in kilometers. Well, if we measure the distance using the map, you can see here we've got 5 centimeters. So AB, that's equal to 5 centimeters. So this is with the map, and therefore in real life we use the scale factor here to find out the distance from A to B in real life. So we multiply by 25,000, 25,000 multiplied by 5, you'd find that to be 125,000. So this 125,000 centimeters represents the distance from A to B in real life. And we wish to give our answer in kilometers. So what you'll notice over here, to go from centimeters to meters and then to kilometers, here we would have to divide by 100, and then meters to kilometers we would have to divide by 1000. And to go from kilometers to meters we have to multiply by 1000. Meters to centimeters we have to multiply by 100. And therefore we can easily convert this 125,000 centimeters into kilometers by first of all dividing by 100 and then dividing by 1000. So we've got 125,000 divided by 100. So this over here is 1250 meters, and then we can divide this value by 1000 to get it into kilometers. So we've got 1250 divided by 1000, which is 1.25 kilometers. So we have 1.25 kilometers as our distance from A to B. Question number 14. Ishmael asked 30 students at college to tell him the sport they each like the best from cricket or tennis or swimming. 11 of the 20 female students said swimming. 2 of the male students said tennis and 5 students said cricket. The number of male students who said cricket was the same as the number of female students who said swimming, and we have to complete the two-way table. So for this question, you can see here we've got 30 students in total, that's shown here, and you'll also notice in total there are 20 female students, and 11 of those 20 said swimming. So swimming female, you can see here, that is 11, so we'll add the 11 over here. And 2 of the male students said tennis, so 2 male students said tennis, so here we've got 2, okay. And 5 students said cricket, so we've got 5 students who said cricket. So we've got a total of 5 students here. And we also know that the number of male students who said cricket was the same as the number of female students who said swimming. So what this tells us over here is this number here is the same as this number here. So we can complete the two-way table by first of all finding the total number of male students. 30 take away 20, that's 10. So 2 plus something is 10. So here you can see this is 4 and this is 4. 4 plus 2 plus 4, that's 10. Okay, so with this we can find out the number of female students who like cricket. 5 take away 4, that's 1. We can find the number of female students who like tennis. 20 take away 11 take away 1, that's 8. To find the number of people who like tennis, 2 plus 8, that's 10. And the total number of people who like swimming, 4 plus 11, that's 15. And here, 5 plus 10 plus 15, that's 30. So that's our two-way table completed. Question 15. Jamil makes a drink by mixing 1 part of orange squash with 9 parts of water. He uses 750 milliliters of orange squash. Jamil is going to put the drink he has mixed into 1 litre bottles. We have to work out the greatest number of 1 litre bottles that Jamil can completely fill. So you can see here that the ratio of S to W, that's equal to 1 to 9. We were told in the question he uses 750 milliliters of orange squash, and therefore the number of milliliters of water he uses, 9 times by 750, that's 6750. So just to confirm what I've done here, I've multiplied both sides by 750. And what he does after this is he puts the drink he has mixed into 1 litre bottles, and we have to work out the greatest number of 1 litre bottles he can completely fill. So the total number of liquid he's got, so the total mixture, he's got the 750 of squash plus the 6750 of water. So he's got 7500 milliliters of juice altogether. And we wish to find out how many 1 litre bottles we can completely fill. And we know that the bottles are in 1 litres. So I think it will be a good point to convert the milliliters into litres. We divide by 1000 to go from milliliters to litres. we multiply by 1000 to go to milliliters from liters. So we have to multiply this amount by, we have to divide this amount by 1000. So 7500 divided by 1000, that's equal to 7.5. So we have 7.5 liters in total, and therefore the greatest number of bottles you can fill is 7. Question number 16. The table gives information about the number of points scored by each of 16 students in a game, and Tina worked out the median of the points scored to be 5. We have to explain why it's not possible for the median to be 5. So the number of points only goes up to 4. And now for part B of the question, Tina also worked out the total number of points scored by the 16 students in the game. Here's a working, so she did 0 times by 1 plus 1 times by 3 plus 2 times by 5 plus 3 times 4 plus 4 times 3. And Tina has made a mistake in working to find the total number of points scored. Describe Tina's mistake. Well, here clearly 0 times by 1 does not equal 1, and that's what she did over here. So that's her mistake. Okay, so now for question number 17. In a shop, a TV has a normal price of £500. The shop has a sale. On Monday, the normal price of the TV is reduced by 1/10 to give the sale price, and on Tuesday, the sale price of the TV is reduced by £20. Chris wants to buy the TV. He has £400 to spend on the TV. Does Chris have enough money to buy the TV on Tuesday? You must show how you get your answer. Well, over here, let's see what happens on Monday. On Monday, the normal price of the TV is reduced by 1/10 to give the sale price. So the sale price is going to be 9/10 of 500. So 1/10 of 500, that's 50. Multiplying that by 9, that gives 450. And then on Tuesday, this price over here is reduced by 20%. So we've got 80% left over of this. So we've got 80% of 450. So if we work this out, 80% of 450, well, 80%, that's the same as 8 over 10. So we got 8 over 10 of 450. So here we've got 45 times by 8, that's 360. Okay, so this here is 360. Okay, so he's got £400 to spend, and because this £400 is greater than this 360, we can therefore conclude that Chris has enough money. Okay. Now for question number 18, we have to work out an estimate for 790 times 289 over 49. Well, this over here is approximately equal to, well, the 790 we can round up to 800, and the 289 we can round up to 300, and then the 49 we can round up to 50. So if we work out the rest of this, 800 times 300, that's 24,000, and then we divide this by 50, and it turns out altogether we end up with 4,800. So we end up with 4,800. And now for question 19, part A, we have to expand x lots of x minus 4. So x times by x, that gives x squared. X times by minus 4, that gives minus 4x. And now for part B, we have to factorize 15y minus 10. So here you can see the highest common factor of 15 and 10, that's 5. So 5 times by 3y that gives 15y. 5 times by minus 2, that gives minus 10. And now for part C, we have to solve 7 lots of f minus 5 equals 28. So the first thing we can do, we can divide both sides by 7. So if I divide both sides by 7, we end up with f minus 5 equals 4. And now if I add 5 to both sides, f is going to equal 4 plus 5, which is 9. Question 20, we've got the first 5 terms of an arithmetic sequence. Those are 1, 4, 7, 10 and 13. And we have to write an expression in terms of n for the nth term of this sequence. Well, over here, the difference between the 1 and 4, that's plus 3. Difference between 4 and 7, that's again plus 3. Difference between 7 and 10, that's plus 3. Difference between 10 and 13, that's plus 3. So here we've got a 3n, and to find the 0th term we have to do the opposite of plus 3, which is minus 3. So 1 minus 3, that's minus 2. So our nth term is 3n minus 2. For question 21, we have to show that 2 and a third times 3 and 3/4 is equal to 8 over 8 and 3/4. So to do this question, let's convert everything into a top-heavy fraction. So here we've got 2 times by the 3 plus the 1 over 3, and then we're going to multiply this by 3 times by the 4 plus the 3 all over the 4. So if we work all of this out, here we've got 6 plus 1, that's 7, and then we divide this by 3, and here we've got 7 plus 3, that's 10. Sorry, we've got here 12 plus 3, that's 15, and on the bottom we've got 4. So 7 times by 15, that's 105. So we've got 105 on the top, on the bottom we've got 12, and we can divide the top and bottom by 3 to give 35 over 4. And 4 goes into 35 8 whole times, and what's left over is 3. So we've got 8 3/4, and that's exactly what we wanted to show. Question 22, we've got 4 graphs over here, graph A, B, C and D, and we have to complete the table. Y equals minus x cubed, well that's going to be graph C, sorry that's going to be graph B. Then we've got y equals x cubed, well that's going to be graph C. Y equals x squared, that's going to be graph D. And what's left over is A, that's graph 1 over x is graph A. And question 23, we've got 4 triangles over here, and 2 of these triangles are congruent. We have to write down the 2 triangles which are congruent, meaning which 2 triangles are the same. Well here, let's think about how we can do this. Well, they all contain a 10 centimeters. What we can do over here is find out this missing angle. 180 take away 55 take away 45, that's 90. Sorry, that's 100. So here we get 80. Of course that makes sense. Here 45 plus 55, that's 100 plus the 80, that gives 180. And the missing angle here is 55. Actually, let's do it in a different colour. So the missing angle here is 55. And through congruency, we have side, angle, and we've got another angle which is the same. So, for example, this angle here is the same as this angle here. So triangles A and D are congruent. Question 24. Sean pays £10 for 24 chocolate bars. He sells all 24 chocolate bars for 50p each, and we have to work out Sean's percentage profit. So to do this question, let's see how much he sells all the chocolate for. So he sells all the chocolate for 24 times by 50p, in other words 0.5 pounds, that's 12 pounds. And therefore the overall profit, that's going to equal 12 take away 10, which is 2. And therefore the percentage profit, that's going to equal 2 over 10 multiplied by 100, which is 20%. So we have 20% as our percentage profit. And question 25, we've got ADC, which is a triangle, and AED and ABC are straight lines. We see those over here. And EB is parallel to DC, so these two are parallel. And EBC is equal to 148, and ADC, that's equal to 63. We have to work out the size of the angle EAB. That's this angle here, we'll call it X. And we have to give a reason for each stage of our working. Well, because angles on a straight line add up to 180, this angle here, the angle ABE, that's going to equal 180 take away 48, which is 32. So this angle here is 32 degrees. The reason for that, angles on a straight line add up to 180. And this angle over here is going to be 63 because we've got corresponding angles. So the angle AEB, that's going to equal 63. The reason for that, corresponding angles are equal, and therefore the missing angle X over here, which is what we want to find, that's equal to 180 take away the 32 take away the 63, which is equal to 85. And the reason for this, angles in a triangle sum to 180. Okay, so that's our answer for that. And now for question number 26, the table gives information about the heights in centimetres of a group of Year 9 girls. So we've got the least height, the median and the greatest height, and we've got a stem and leaf diagram here which shows the information about the heights in centimetres of a group of 15 Year 9 boys. And what we have to do is compare the distribution of the heights of girls with the distribution of the heights of the boys. But what we can do here is work out the range. So the range here is equal to the biggest value, 170, take away the smallest value, which is equal to 150. So the range for the girls is 20 centimeters, and the median, that's told to us as 165 centimeters. And if we take a look at the stem and leaf diagram, we've got 15 boys, so the biggest value, well, we've got this key here, 15 with this line here and an 8, that represents 158 centimeters. So the range of values here, the biggest value, that's 182, the smallest value, that's 158. So therefore the range over here is 24, and the median, to work out the median of a stem and leaf diagram, we want the middle value, so 15 plus 1, that's 16. So the median here, that's going to be the 15th plus 1 over 2, so we get here the 8th value. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this value circled is 168. That's our median. So when we compare the distributions, so the median for the girls, which is 165, is less than the median for the boys, and the range for the girls, which is 20, is smaller than the range for the boys, which is 24. Now for question number 27, the diagram shows a prism placed on a horizontal floor, and the prism has height 3 centimeters, and the volume of the prism is 18 meters cubed. And the pressure on the floor due to the prism is 75 newtons per meter squared, and we have to work out the force exerted by the prism on the floor. Well, here we know what the pressure is, that's 75. We're working out the force, we don't know the area, but we can figure out the area by working out from this shape over here. So the area over here, that's equal to the volume divided by the height. So the volume here, that's 18 meters cubed. The height over here is 3 meters, so here we get 6 meters squared as our area. So this over here is our area, and we need to work out the force. So we've got the pressure, 75, so that's this over here, and this is equal to the force, we'll call that F, divided by the area, which is 6, and we need to rearrange for the force. So force, that's equal to 75 times by 6, which is equal to 450 newtons. So we got 450 newtons, and for question 28 we have to write these numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest first. So to do this question, you'll notice they are not all given in standard form, and just as a reminder of standard form, the number is in the form a times by 10 to the power of n, where a is in between 1 and 10. And if we write all these numbers as 6.2 times 10 to the something, it then becomes easier to compare. So if we consider this 67.2 times 10 to the minus 4, we want to write this as 6.72 times 10 to the something. And because here I've divided by 10 to get the 6.72, I'd have to multiply the 10 to the minus 4 by 10, so I get here 10 to the minus 3. And if I consider this 672 times 10 to the 4, I want to write this as 6.72 times 10 to the something. To go from 672 to 6.72, I'd have to divide by 100. So I'd have to multiply this 10 by 100, this 10 to the 4 by 100. So here I get 10 to the 6. And if I consider this 0.00672, well, I'll have to move the decimal place 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the right. So this over here is 6.72 times 10 to the minus 4. So then comparing them becomes easy. We see the smallest one is this one. If we just compare the 10 to the somethings, followed by this one over here, followed by this one. So I'll just write all this in a different colour. So here this is the smallest, followed by this, followed by this, followed by this. So write the original numbers down. So here we've got 0.000672 followed by the 67.2 times 10 to the minus 4, followed by the 6.72 times 10 to the 5, followed by the 672 times 10 to the 4. For question 29, we've got a over b, which is equal to 2 over 5, and we've got b over c, which is equal to 3 over 4, and we have to find the ratio a to b to c. Well, you can straight away spot over here the ratio a to b, that's going to equal to 5, and you can gather that from this over here. And we've also got b to c, which is equal to 3 to 4, and we want to find the ratio a to b to c, and for that we need to make the number of b's the same. So if you look at this 5 here and this 3 over here, the number that goes into both of them is 15. So we've got 15 here and 15 here. Now, to go from the 5 to the 15, we multiply by 3. So 2 times by 3, that's 6. And over here, to go from the 3 to the 15, we multiply by 5. 4 times by 5, that's 20. So the ratio A to B to C, that's equal to 6 to 15 to 20. So we've got here 6 to 15 to 20 as our ratio of A to B to C. Question 30, part A, we have to make Q the subject of P equals 6Q plus 7. Well, if I subtract 7 from both sides, we've got P minus 7 equals 6Q. And then if I divide both sides by 6, you can see here, Q is equal to P minus 7 over 6. So we've got Q equals P minus 7 over 6. And now for part B of the question, we have to simplify m to the minus 2 to the power of m minus 3. Well, here we have to use our laws of indices. A to the power of x to the power of y, that's equivalent to a to the power of xy. We multiply the powers. So here we've got m to the minus 2 times m to the times minus 3. So here we've got m to the positive 6, because minus 2 times minus 3 is positive 6. So here we've got m to the power of 6. So that's the end of the paper. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Any questions, please feel free to comment, and hopefully I'll see you all on the next video.